Hello, hello, hello. Hi, everyone. Welcome. Gosh, it's been quite a while that I've been here, but I'm back and I'm going to do a very interesting topic. A question that I know many people will find very valuable is, do I regret studying in Canada? So, if you don't know, I was an international student in Canada. I just graduated this year in June by the grace of God, and I am currently still in Canada, and I am on a postgraduate work permit that the government gives you when you graduate from a school here in Canada. So, yeah, and I'm going to talk about my experience of being an international student. Do I regret coming to Canada? Do I? So, yeah, you're gonna find out. Do I regret coming here to Canada to study? Generally, no. I do not regret my decision to come to study here in Canada. Why? So I'm going to give my experience. Like how was it? So the first question is, how was it studying in Canada? It was not easy, neither was it hard. It was just an experience of its own, because it's very different from what I knew, from what, like, from my home country. Because as an international student here in Canada, I had to do so much other than studying. I had to work, and so I was a full-time student, and I was also working part-time. And it was challenging to be honest, because I have to work. Like, you have to work if you want, because unless your parents are paying for you, like, everything, like, unless they're paying for your rent, they're paying for you to eat. If you're privileged enough to have that, then good for you. You're gonna have a very easy. It's gonna be easy for you. But for me, I had to work. I had to work to pay my bills. I had to work to pay my rent. I had to work to eat. So I was a full-time student, and I was also working part-time. So I would go to school on Monday to Friday, and then Saturday, Sunday, I would go to work. So can you imagine that lifestyle? Like, Monday to Friday, you're in school, and then Saturday, Sunday, you just have to work. And it's most students, like, most students work. Actually, I even know of an international student, my friend. She's a full-time student, and she's also working full-time. She's working night shift. So it can be a lot. That is my number one. Like, that was a shock to me, to be honest, because I also did a course in my country, and it wasn't that way. Like, I was a student, and that was it. Like, I didn't have to work. Every weekend I would go back home or do whatever. Like, what are we doing this weekend? But when I came here, it's like, you're a student and you're a worker. Like, you have to survive. So, but it's possible, because I did make it and I did pass with flying colors. But so I'm coming to a point where it taught me how to balance and how to also be independent. Because when I came here as an international student in Canada, unless you have your family here, you're by yourself. So everything is you. You pay your rent, you cook for yourself. If you live with family, it's so easy, because you come from school, you find they've cooked for you. You just come, and so maybe once in a while you come and it's your time to cook. You're like, fine, I'll cook. But here, you cook, you clean, you do laundry, everything is you. You have to study for your exam. You have to it's it's a lot. But it's a good experience, because you just become someone. Like, you become, I think you just have to mature quick. Like, you just have to. You don't have an option. So that part was something else. Like, it was quite an experience. And international students, let me tell you one fact about international students here in Canada. International students work hard. These people work really hard, because they are students and they are still working. So if you know an international student here in Canada, know that they're doing their best. They are working very hard. they want to succeed in school, but they also have to provide for themselves to just survive. So, but it's doable because I did it for 2 years, and for me, it was, even though sometimes it was hard, it was it was doable. um the other thing about studying in Canada that I don't regret is just coming to this place where there's lots of culture. Like there's a lot of people from different countries. There are people from the Philippines. There are people from, like, literally every country in the world is here in Canada. I have so many, since I came here, I've met people from so many different cultures, like Philippines, Nigerians, South Africa. Like I've met so many people that I would have not have met if I had stayed in Kenya. Because back in Kenya, I went to colleges, but we were all Kenyans. So I only knew like the Kenyan way of doing things until I came here and I found like, oh, people do that. Oh, people do that. You know that, like, oh wow, okay, good to know. Like you just experience different cultures. You know, like you see a different way of life other than what you're used to or what you grew up seeing or knowing, you know. So for me, that was a very good experience, and it's the first time I tried like things like sushi, these things I would never have had if I didn't come here. And I've tried a lot of Indian food, like a lot, because I have a lot of Indian friends. I have Filipino friends. I've tried Filipino foods. From South America, I have a friend from Trinidad. Like all this, like, you know. So yeah, you get to experience different cultures when you're an international student here in Canada. um the other thing is that you it's an opportunity for you to come here and just do a course. Okay, I'm just gonna give a disclaimer on this one. So when you're done with your course, you will get a job, but it depends what course you've done. There's some courses that, according to what I've seen, it's really hard for people to find a job. But if you do a really good course, like you finish school and you get a job, like for sure, you get a job in your industry and you start working. So that's another thing that I loved about being an international student. Like you finish school and you get like the job of your career. I was blessed enough that I finished school and I got the job of my career. So I'm currently working in my career that I like. Whatever I studied for is what I'm doing. And yeah, so maybe I will do a topic on like the courses to do here in Canada, because I've noticed some international students, they come, they do a course, and then it's very hard for them to find a job afterwards, because the course that they did, like, it's not that marketable like compared to other courses. So there are some courses which are easier to find jobs, which are like in healthcare. Like if you do anything healthcare, it's easy to get a job compared to if you do like some courses. Yeah, maybe I'll do a video on that. So the other interesting thing about here in Canada that I experienced as an international student is winter. I cannot talk about experiencing Canada without saying about winter. And I've done a video on my first winter in Canada. But winter is something else. Like it's winter. Like you know, if you come from I come from a country where it's like the temperature is all year all round the same. Like unless it rains, unless sometimes it's cold, but like not cold, but it's like cold. And then you come here and the winter hits you and you're like, wow. It's a lot. For me, it was a lot. The first year for me was very hard. Go and watch that video. I just said how much I cried and how much, like, so winter is just something else. Like when you come here in Canada, just know that you're going to experience like a like a lot of weather. So when it's winter, it's like too cold, and sometimes when it's summer, there's like heat warning, snow. Like there's always warning going on. Like if you're not used to that, especially if you're from like Africa, you know we don't have any extreme weathers, especially where I'm from, Kenya. Like it's just warm. So yeah, it's really cold. It gets cold in winter, but if you have the right like winter jacket, scarf, like if you have those things, you'll be fine. But it's really fun, to be honest. Like it's really like you just see the snow. Sometimes you just admire how beautiful it is, even during fall, like how the trees change colors in spring, like trees get flowers. You even wonder where, like the whole tree is just flowers. So it's so beautiful, the weather you get to see. And see, if I didn't come to Canada, I will not know how snow feels like. I wouldn't know how fall looks like. I wouldn't experience all this. So I enjoyed that experience, and I'm still enjoying it. I'm still fascinated with the snow. I'm still fascinated with how the leaves change colors, and they just know the perfect time to shed, because to shed off their leaves, because like winter is coming. And yeah, so winter is another one. Other experience that I had as an international student is like how, like the lack of, you know, like if I want, I'm going to give an example because I don't know how to explain this. If I was in Kenya and I want to meet with someone, I would call them and be like, can we meet tomorrow? Like, are you, yeah, no, I'm not busy. I don't know. But that's my experience when I was in Kenya. Like if I want to meet a friend, I'll be like, okay, let's meet on Sunday. Let's meet, okay, where? Let's meet at town. Let's go to archives, Like, and then when I came here, like meeting with someone, it takes a while because people like, if most people are working all the time. And so if I want to meet with my friend, we would sit down and be intentional and be like, okay, are you off on this day? Yes, on that, no, I can't. On that day, I'm working, you know? And it will take us like even 2 months to meet because also they're living somewhere far. And yeah, so it's just, if you want to keep a friendship here, with my experience is just, we just have to be intentional. And yeah, that's another thing that I noticed. And it's not as sociable, what sociable as Kenya, because there's that social life that is in Kenya that I found is not here in Canada. But by the grace of God, I found a community, like in church. The church that I found a church, and I found a very good community where, like, I would enjoy going to church. And I just found a community there. They would, even one time when I was sick, like they would come to, like they would bring me food and everything. And it was like, this is a blessing. Even during Christmas, like we would have Christmas dinner, like they would invite me to their Easter dinner. So I think for me that was very different. And I am a person who likes to be alone. I am a person who likes, I don't mind being alone, and I like it. I thrive. But the other thing, I always say but the other thing that kept me sane here in Canada is Jesus. I just have to give Jesus the credit because sometimes it gets hard. Number one, you're away from your family. You come to a place, you are by yourself. You don't have, like, you're away, you're far, 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 far away from family. You come, you just get so overwhelmed by the schoolwork. You come here, you, like, it's just different. Everything is different. Everything shocks you. You're like, what? you know and you just, you and you have to go with the pace. Go with the pace. You don't want to be left behind. Like, things are just moving, and you can't stay and say, well, I better recover. I don't know, I just came yesterday. Nope, you came yesterday, you need to make dinner. You landed yesterday, you need to go and do grocery shopping. You came yesterday, you need to pay rent, you need to pay, I don't know, there's a lot that you have to do, and it can be overwhelming. And I'm going to be honest, the first 2 months for me were very overwhelming. Like, I was so overwhelmed with so much, especially when school started. I was like, oh God. Because I was like, the professor expects us to do all this and still read and still do an assignment. I was like, nah. So honestly, yeah. So for me, the thing that really, really helped me to stay sane here in Canada is just, honestly, is Jesus. I cannot account it to anything. It's just having that, I don't know, I just felt a purpose. Like, I'm here for a reason. Every time I had to remind myself, like, if God placed me here, He placed me for a reason. Like, God will not bring me here in vain. So for me, it was just that is what kept me going, because sometimes it can be overwhelming. And if you're an international student and you're here in Canada, comment. If you're watching this, comment if you've ever felt overwhelmed by by how much you have to do. um and what helped you? For me, what helped me is having that, like, just knowing that, like, having that purposefulness, knowing that I am here for a reason, and there's a reason why God has me here. That kept me going, to be honest. And yeah, so it's very important to find, to recognize, like, to know, like, why you're here, why you want to do what you want to do. Because if you don't know why you're here, then it will be easy for you to give up. If the minute things get real, you'll be like, I have to go, I have to go. During winter, I don't know if I said this in my other video, but I remember during winter one time, I was like, I'm booking a ticket, I am going back home because I cannot. Because I know I said this in my other video, like, I was like, it's just too much for me now. I had I had missed the bus. I was going to work. It was so cold. I'm like, I think I had an assignment on that day that was due. I'm going to work. I have to come back. I was like, is this worth it? Because and I was calling my mom, like, Mom, I'm packing. I'm coming home. I'm buying a ticket. So yeah, and so maybe some people felt that and they went back. I don't know anyone who went back, but maybe there's someone who did. But to avoid that, just be purposeful. If you're purposeful, whatever you go through, as long as you know the purpose of why you're here, then you go. But if you don't know why you're here, you'll be like, I can't do it. I can't. And the minute you say you can't do it, you will not do it. So yeah, I think that's everything that I I wanted to say on this video. And my overall thing is that Canada is a very beautiful country. It offers so many opportunities for international students, and honestly, I don't regret coming here to Canada, because it has made me realize a lot. I've grown in so many ways. I've grown in ways that I had not if I had stayed in Kenya, I would not grow. I don't know. I don't know how to explain it, but yeah. So anyone out there, if you're looking to come to Canada as an international student, as long as you can afford it, as long as you're aware of the costs, it's a good place. It is a good place. And I know there are so many videos of people saying, oh, Canada, I don't know what, but I always say this, and if anyone who knows me knows, I always say this, that whatever you speak becomes your reality. So if you keep saying how somewhere is hard, like, oh, Canada is so hard, oh, people are suffering, well, if you come here and you say that, that becomes your reality. Because I always say, people, we are all living in different realities, to be honest. There's someone who keeps saying how hard Canada is, how it's hard to find a job, and there's someone else who came to Canada and they're thriving, literally thriving. They're living their best life. And it's just their attitude that is what made the difference. So for me, I always say, if you come to a place, always see the positive side, and always, like, try and avoid the negativity and the complaining, and it becomes your reality. And yeah, so avoid talking bad things or imagining bad things that would happen, because we make our reality, like, whatever you keep thinking, whatever you keep speaking becomes that. Like, that is what you'll be living. So me, I believe that Canada is a good country. It offers a lot of opportunities, and if you're purposeful, like, you will succeed, like, times a million. And that's my reality. I'm succeeding. I am literally thriving here in Canada, as you can see. And and I did graduate, and I went to my country, and I came back. And yeah, so that would be my advice. My experience here in Canada has been very, like, being an international student for me was quite an experience. And sometimes it was hard, it was sometimes I missed home, but I made it, and I continue making it. And I'll continue making these videos, to educate. And I always say, like, I want my experience to help someone else. If what I went through can help someone else, I'm like, why not? Like, Why not give you that knowledge, so that you can also like know and thrive. So yeah, if you have any questions, please comment, or if you have any comments, comment down below. And please, can you subscribe to my channel, so that many people also share, so that other people can also know the knowledge that you got from watching this video. So subscribe, share, like, comment. Okay, please subscribe. Okay. Okay.